What's up, champions? Welcome to another video. So in this video I want to give you two very important stretches to improve that internal rotation of the shoulder. So in the previous video I was discussing the Cuban rotation, so how we need to strengthen that external rotation movement pattern in order to have greater shoulder stability. But if we're always doing strengthening, then somebody's got to do the stretching, otherwise we're gonna get too tight. So if you go into like an end range right now, if you already feel, oh shit, I really feel my rotator cuff is very tight, like you feel almost like a cramp here in the back, then you definitely need to work on that internal rotation mobility. So if it's just tight, then you can just do one or two sets of 30 seconds to 1 minute in a stretch I'm about to show you. But if you need drastic improvements in internal rotation of the shoulder, then make sure to do at least a little bit of work every day in order to improve that mobility. So I'm going to show you two different exercises. Both work very well, but they're not very advanced. So if you have amazing internal rotation of the shoulder, then you're not going to feel very challenged with the next two exercises. If, however, you need to work on this, then it's going to feel pretty tormenting. But this is something we need to do, so let's begin. Boom. The first stretch is the sleeper's stretch. So basically it's done on the side. Keep your shoulder in kind of a neutral position and then try to bring the palm as close to the floor as possible. So here you can very easily test your internal rotation. So with a little bit of work, I can basically reach the floor, but doesn't happen right away. But let's say with a little bit of work and a little bit of assistance, boom, my forearm is on the floor. So very important to be able to do this without excessive protraction or elevation. So here, if I really elevate and go internally rotate a lot, then and really protract, and then I can have more internal rotation. So then I can see, oh, this is very easy, yeah. But if I depress and retract a little bit, if I'm more honest, well, you see the difference right now. So protracting and retracting. So you want to keep yourself honest. So usually here I would go with a contraction. So I would here press against the other hand for 10 seconds basically. And with this, you're very simply educating your body what muscles it needs to activate to go into that position. So for 10 seconds, and then you keep pressing, but you're able to, whoa, look at this, just like magic. And then again, 1, 2, so really contract, internally rotate as much as you can, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Able to go deeper, and also it's very nice because you're doing this actively. Let's go once more. So I usually do 3 reps of 10 seconds. Once more, 1, 2, 3, and make sure to keep your shoulder in an honest position. So don't protract too much. Try to maintain some depression and some retraction. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I usually use my other hand to press down a little bit. And here I also try to maintain a little bit of increase that lean forward. So here if you go back, you can very easily get the range. But once you're with the chest forward, it gets a bit more tricky. So usually I'll go down and try to bring the chest a little bit forward. And then kind of relax and lean back a little bit. And boom, go all the way down. Boom. So this probably took around 60 seconds or something like that, and that would be the usual time I would spend in the position. So 3 sets of 10 seconds working actively, and then simply relax and use the other hand to gently push down into the stretch. Very important not to feel any pain in the shoulder, but it is kind of an uncomfortable stretch, so you should feel a little bit of uncomfort. And here you can also work with this one with kind of like progressive. You can do a set of progressive loaded mobility basically. So you can go like this, and also the position of the elbow here, basically try several different positions. So you can be a little bit further here, you can be a little bit further here, or a bit higher up. Also you can do one set here, one set a bit closer, and one set a bit higher. But the most important thing is, if you're actually feeling the stretch, then it's good. So let's also bring it here. So going internally as much as you can, relaxing, and then back up. So this is a moderate weight. I think this is like 1 kilo or something. Make sure not to use too much, especially right away, because you can basically damage the rotator cuff instead of get more mobility in that internal rotation. But yeah, I could use a little bit more than this. This feels quite light. But yeah, I just wanted to show you with a bit lighter weight. So you should definitely begin with something like this. Back up. So if I go for reps, I usually go as deep as I can. Then I do 5 to 10 reps with 10 to 30 second hold on that last one. Keeping the position of the shoulder honest. Give it a gentle push. My right one definitely more tight in internal rotation. Something I'm working on a lot. And then bring it back from the position. Whew. So that's basically it. Make sure to keep the shoulder in a good position, so you don't need to be like fully depressed and retracted. But yeah, make sure you're not protracting and going fully hollow, because you're not gonna feel the stretch where you want to feel it. So you can either use a light weight to help you direct where you need to go, or you can use the other hand and then basically do an isometric contraction, 3 sets of 10 seconds, and then simply spend the next 30 seconds to 1 minute just trying to go deeper into the position. That's basically it. Boom. And now the second stretch for internal rotation feels slightly different, but we're doing the same thing. So I will put my hand like this, so right here next to the waist, and then lean the elbow against the wall. Here I try to retract and depress, so not going hollow like this. This doesn't do me any good, but keeping a very honest position like this. And then from here, I try to go deeper into that internal rotation. Make sure you're not feeling any pain. This is definitely tricky stuff. These are the stretches that usually don't feel so comfortable. So make sure you try to actively bring it deeper in internal rotation. Remind yourself to keep a good position here of the shoulder, retract the press, and make sure you're not feeling any pain. So slight discomfort is okay, but make sure you're not feeling any pain. And I simply spent about 30 seconds to 60 seconds in this position. Oof. Let me also show you from the other side. So hand goes like this, lean the elbow against the wall. I usually keep a nice posterior pelvic tilt as well, retraction and depression, and then try to bring it deeper into that internal rotation. So this is basically it. Nothing too glorious, but this is the stuff that needs to be done if you want to have healthy shoulders. So especially if you're doing a lot of throwing or if you're doing a lot of strengthening for that external rotation, make sure to do your internal rotation mobility work. Thank you so much for your time. If you want some help with your training, if you want some quality routines to guide you towards that one-arm chin-up or the handstand push-up, then make sure to check out my tutorials. So there's a link right here in the video description. Click that link and take your training to a world-class level. Thank you so much for your time, and remember, you're a champion. Boom.